Wow. Wow. I tell you, 2024, man, it never ceases to amaze me, man. Wow. Today on a special edition, a special Saturday weekend edition of the Ave Podcast, I'm joined by DJ and former producer DJ Keo as we have a conversation about this Drake versus Kendrick battle that has reached epic proportions, like epic. I'm not sure what else is there for me to say to describe this. I mean, listen to the podcast. I'll just say, if you told me a week ago this is where we're going to be sitting, I would have never believed you, like at all. Wildness. South Shore Ave is available wherever you listen to podcasts. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. Please click on the 5 stars for the support, please, and thank you. Again, 5 stars. And check out my catalog over at SouthShoreAve.com. Once again, that is SouthShoreAve.com. It's the Ave Podcast with Cal C on South Shore Ave Radio. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Ave Podcast with Cal C on South Shore Ave Radio.
Welcome to the Ave Podcast. We're interrupting the great NBA playoffs that's happening right now. Damn it, we're here to talk about Chris Brown versus Quavo. I'm joking.
That's a worthy battle, though. I'm not gonna say Chris Brown put his foot in there.
I was pretty surprised, and to be honest, I mean, Quavo came back. That was
pretty good too. I was like, oh,
pretty good.
Okay.
That was actually pretty good. I'm like, man, 2024 has been a hell of a year. So, man, we're only in May.
Hell of a year. Yeah, dude, this year just got started. We're not in the scary months yet because this is election too. Dude, we got a scary year ahead of us. All the craziness is gonna happen.
This year is crazy, man. All the stuff that's been happening. I gotta sit there and write a list of all the things that I did not expect to happen. That's just been happening nonstop.
Unbelievable things too, not even just regular things. Unbelievable things.
Yeah, stuff that would like dominate the year. And now at this point, you're just like, okay, what's gonna happen in May? Now this happened. You're like, okay, let's see what June brings.
If an asteroid hit the Earth, I'd be like, yeah, that's not far. We deserve that. I would be like, oh my god, this is the craziest thing ever. I'm like, yeah, we deserve that.
We had a solar eclipse. Had a solar eclipse. Yeah, an asteroid hits the Earth. You're like, okay, let's see what happens in September.
Bro, that's crazy. It's crazy.
well, I mean, if you're living under a rock, for those who's listening and watching, I mean, obviously, you know what's happening between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. It's probably one of the biggest hip hop beefs that we've ever seen
in my lifetime.
Yeah, honestly. The way it extended is just I'm still kind of left speechless as to like what happened.
Yeah, I have to say, I believe that this is in between the Biggie and Pac and Jay-Z and Nas. It's like in between, or it's near to it.
Or it's definitely on that Mount Rushmore for sure.
I would say the amount of eyes on it make it this important because the Jay-Z and Nas was just rap fans that cared about this. If you weren't listening to Hot 97 or whatever, it wasn't a thing that you didn't even know was happening. Like this thing in particular, with CP24 is talking about for people in Canada. That's our news channel that they just gives you quick updates. They had cameras in front of his house talking about this rap battle. Like, this is unprecedented as far as the global reach of rap. Like, it's on a different, because I don't remember college professors analyzing lyrics from Biggie and Pac. Like, I don't remember that. No. Up until the shots started ringing out, I don't think people really cared about Biggie and Pac. Like, it was the East Coast West, but it was still just in rap.
It was basically all the hip hop.
Yeah. Rap people cared.
Rap people
cared. They consumed all the rap music, but
and the culture cared.
The culture
cared,
for sure.
But it was just us
it was the culture and rap music that was focused on both of those two battles, the Jay-Z and Nas, Biggie and Pac. But this thing has expanded to local news in California and Canada. And I would say in other places
everywhere.
too.
You see them talk about it in Philly and
it's everywhere. You have to. It's a thing that I think it surprised a lot of people because Kendrick is not really a rap battle type person, but he's taken to it very well. Like, he's just very comfortable. And Drake has battled bums for a long time. Or I gotta preface this: bums and people on the decline of their career. That's Drake's target for every beef that he's gotten to, so he could do a sneak and it wouldn't matter. And I said to you, because we've been talking offline about this for the entire week, and I said this to you. This is the first rap battle Drake has had with a peer. And we're talking about a person with platinum albums, a person with Grammys, a person that's revered, generates. He got what award is the Pulitzer
Prize? Yeah.
They dissect his lyrics in college classes and university. Yeah. We're not talking about a bum or a guy who, like, his career has been kind of like, I don't know about that guy. Or who is even this guy? Like, Drake has battled a lot of who's that guy? He's battled a lot of that. So this is the first time he's battled somebody who on Spotify has had a billion streams too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Meek Mill doesn't have a billion streams. I don't remember that. I don't think Rox has had a billion streams. Kendrick has a billion streams too. And he's got an album on YouTube with a billion views too. So you're not talking about just some random guy. You're like it's a well-respected guy who's living his life and doing his thing and chilling.
No, so it's funny because, like, for me, I'll be honest, man, I didn't really care. Like,
I didn't either. When it started, I didn't care either.
Yeah, I really didn't. And here's why, honestly, Keo. It's because, I'm at the stage in my life, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for you as well. Like, being a hip hop head and a lover of music, we've seen so much beefs. Like,
and we're prefacing
we're prefacing like the two biggest ones, at least that we've seen. You know what I mean? But then especially with the advent of social media, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much. There seems like there's just beefs all the time. You don't even know who the artists are anymore.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, you got Ice Cube beef with NWA. And, like, we have DJ Quick, which is one of my favorite beefs, with the MC8. Like, that's a straight California one, but like it was good. They were going by each other. It was good. They met in person fighting. People were running shots out. Like, it was a real problem.
It was a real problem.
And so, like, Common, like, there's a bunch of good beefs that we had.
Jadakiss and them, and
Jadakiss, that was a good
50 Cent Ja Rule, that was a big one too.
Ja Rule, that was a good one too. Yeah, like actual memorable. Like, you can remember the songs and you actually listen to the songs on an off chance. Like, there's a lot of been good beefs. This one, I think, is kind of personal for us because, we're Canadian. So I have people calling me from America like, what's going on in Canada right now? Like it's been a weird thing. And this is coincidence, all right? This Blue Jays has coincidence. But,
no, it's not. I love your city, man. I love all your city.
I love Toronto, man. I was born here, but like it's coincidence. But like I'm just saying, like, at the beef, personally, I wasn't invested until the weekend. When the weekend hit, and I was like, oh wait, it's still going. Oh, there's another song. There's another song, like. We were talking like, yo, check the internet. Like, this another song just dropped. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Okay. And the one thing I liked about this beef was that the songs weren't throwaway songs.
They were all
good songs.
They were all good.
Drake was hitting them with jabs, and so was Kendrick. So like, it felt like, I don't think anybody was really, until Not Like Us, I don't think anybody was like, oh, this is finished. Let's stick a fork in this thing. This guy's shooting at the coffin right now. Like, nobody was saying that. Everybody was like, it was both camps equal, especially on the internet. Both camps were like, yo, this guy's up 2-1. This guy's up 2-1. Like, he's very equal.
Yeah.
And then Kendrick had to drop a dance track for the Pyru or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. And also, this read is coincidence too, right? I think I was matching both sides. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. You got to put that out there.
You're like, I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan.
I'm a fan of both of them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the funny thing is too, it's like, you know, when all three of those songs hit, like 616 in LA and all that stuff, I was actually out, like I was on my way out when or actually I was out when Family Matters dropped.
Was that a Saturday?
Yeah, it was like Friday night, Saturday morning or whatever, around midnight or whatever time that was. So I saw the video. I couldn't really hear it, but then like I played it again afterwards, and I'm like, wow.
Dude, I was like, whoa. Wow. Oh, this is going to be a problem for everybody. That's what I said.
Yeah, I was like, wow. But then, so I didn't learn to the next morning because on the way home, I heard the Meet the Grams, and I'm like, same thing. I'm like, wow.
I was like, this guy's playing for keeps. Because here's the thing. Normally, when there's a rap battle, it's like some bars like, yo, I'm on a Learjet, and you at home with your mom. Like, that is like just silliness. Yeah. This got so personal.
Super. Why did it get so personal? I'm like, holy cow.
I don't know. Like, I do know this, though. This beef has been going on for like 8 years or 7 years.
Yeah,
it's been a minute.
Actually. Yeah.
And Kendrick has made it clear that he's not like Drake. And Drake has made it clear. I just saw, Marcellus Wiley, the football player. Yeah. I saw this video. Did you send me the video? I think you sent it to me.
Okay. I think I might have,
Yeah, when he was talking about Drake was on their show. The first
Yes, the sports station, yeah.
Yeah. And Drake was going in, and then the big wigs pulled it. And I was like, oh, this has been, I just thought they were like, it was a friendly, hey, I'm the best rapper kind of beef thing, rather than this was actually personal. Because for Drake to go on TV and take shots, and then people have to come into the show and be like, hey, man, take the show down. Guys got air another show. I was like, oh, this is personal.
Yeah, and like I said, I had no idea. And the thing is, why would we? Because it's this. None of this music is made for us. We're out of the demographic. We're just fans. Like, we're really on the outside.
Dude, I listen to the album. I don't care about this miscellaneous stuff.
Yeah,
Drake likes a song that's got the time and the date in it, or the place or whatever. I listen to those. I like those because Drake is finally rapping instead of this pop garbage. But like, outside of that, I don't really get into the weeds if somebody made a mixtape or whatever. I don't care. I listen to the
miscellaneous stuff and all that.
Yeah. I just listen to the album. So like, for me, I would have never knew this was happening until everyone's sending me texts like, "Yo, you gotta check this thing out. These guys are going at each other's neck." Because do you remember the Control song when it came out? Everybody was like, "Oh,
yeah,
damn," because it was it Big Sean's song?
It was Big Sean's song,
yeah. And I was
like Kendrick and Jay Electronica.
Yeah, because Jay was at the end, and because no one gets to Jay's verse, everyone stops at Kendrick's verse.
Stop at Kendrick's,
yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, "Oh, Kendrick is going at Drake's neck right here. This is something." Because he's naming people, but it felt like a friendly, "Hey, everybody, I'm the best rapper in this circle." But you guys we're still cool with each other. I rate you guys. You guys are cool, but like, I'm the best out of this circle, which is fine. That's part of rap, especially people who are bragging about how big they are and how much they sold or whatever. So I thought that was fine. I didn't take it like, oh, this guy's stewing at home, circling around, digging a hole in his carpet. Like, I didn't think that was happening. Apparently, that's what happened.
There's also Breaking Bad shit,
right? Do you know who I am?
but trust me, like when I got up Saturday, man, my phone was blowing up. I had so much different conversations with so much people.
Yes,
and then I'm getting texts like, "Yo, so when's your next podcast? You're gonna talk about this again?" So that's why I'm like, because the last one I put out, I was like, this is my mindset, right? The last one I put out, I literally said at the end of the podcast, You know what? We'll get to it because I'm like, and it was not dismissive, but it was almost like, again, coming from the perspective that we've seen so much beast. I was like, I'll get to it in a couple of weeks. No, right. I was like, you knew it was coming. You knew it was simmering, but it was like, and then especially Euphoria came out at the time, but I was like, it's gonna last a few weeks. So I'll get to it in a couple of weeks. You know, we'll wrap it up in a couple of weeks. Like whatever. You know, like I was like, well, shit, I gotta fix my life. Gotta get this. I gotta get this done.
The entire West Coast, all the way up to Denver, is picked aside. Right? Yeah. That's the problem. That's amazing. Yeah. It was quick too. It wasn't like people sat on it and a couple weeks later, like I like this song better. It was immediate. The entire half of America was like, yeah, Kendrick got this, and so like it was a couple songs in a row, and I was like, man. This is mad personal. This sounds like this is gonna go in a place where people are gonna start shooting.
It was almost weird. Like it was almost a little weird that it went that personal that fast. You're just like, damn, y'all really.
Yeah, because I thought it was just a rap beef, and it was more about I sold more records than you, and you snubbed me on you're trying to put me on a song and you took me off the song. I took that as disrespectful. Like it went past that. It went well past that to like I hate your pants. I hate the way you walk. Like, bro, like it was real. Like this guy's talking about your wife and your kids. I'm like, when you brought the kids in there, both sides equally brought kids in there, and it got to the point where I was looking at like, dude, man, I was starting to feel away. When I listened to Meet the Grams, I started to feel away like, yo, bro. And I said it to you. I remember sending you a text like, yo, this is bad. I never remembered a rap beef like this. Because like normally it's just your career sucks. I sold more records than you, whatever. Pac went there. And DJ Quick went there, but like it wasn't. That's not a normal thing for people to be like, "I pity your kids." Let me play this song for them when they're 18 years old, so they can know how much you're a piece of crap. Like that's on a different level, man.
Yeah,
like it's
like psychological warfare.
Yeah, and then the other thing too that Kendrick did was he had the songs ready. Because he stepped on Drake's releases. I know a lot of people talked about this already, but like Drake has been known to step on people's releases because he's the bigger artist, and completely drown them out so they don't get heard and no one even bothers listening or remembering something's going on here. Kendrick did that to him, and I still think that last song was rushed, and no one can tell me otherwise. The Heart Part 6. Yeah, the Heart Part 6. It doesn't feel like I planned this stuff because the way he's talking in the song, I planned this out for weeks, and we waited for you to do. Like, nah, man, you wrote that this morning, and you just did it just now, and you put it out, and it was rushed. It was absolutely rushed.
But let me go back to Not Like Us for a moment because. And shout out to my nephews and nieces, man, because again, like I said, the music is for that generation. For sure.
Yeah, it is. It's past us. This is way past us.
Yeah, way past us. So they literally, between all like a good majority of them, 3 in particular, they spent the day educating me on all this stuff, and and yeah, it was pretty wild. Like I was like, okay, so this is what that means, and this is what such and such. Because I'm like. Why is it? Because again, after Meet the Grams, I'm like, yo, why is this so personal? What the hell is going on here?
At least these bars mean something.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I'm like, yo, I mean, you're hearing the lyrics, but you're like, yo, this is way deeper than just a rap beef here. What's going on, right? So they broke it down for me. So I remember I went to get something to eat Saturday night, right? And I'm picking up a roti. Actually, this is a funny joke. I'm picking up a roti. And
that's such a Trinity thing, man.
And what's funny, what's funny is they both my nephew and niece text me at the exact same time. Like, yo, he put out another track. Kendrick put it. I'm like, oh, come on. I'm like, no way. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that's impossible. I'm like, he just put out 2 yesterday. I'm like, he just put out 2 yesterday. and everybody's still reeling from the Family Matters to Beat the Grams, and the way that he basically stepped on that trump card. And I'm like, there's no way he came up with something that fast. And they sent it to me, and I'm listening to it in my car, right?
Yeah.
And when I heard it, Keo, I was like, oh no. I was like, the way I was thinking, I was like, oh, this sounds bayish. This sounds bayish. I'm like, oh, I got it right away. I got it right away. I was like, oh no. I was like, this sounds bayish.
This is the thing. Drake was making these two regular miscellaneous trap songs, and then Kendrick made this song representing California, all of California. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, this is a problem. I'm like, it doesn't matter what happens after this. I just felt like that California, when I lived down in California, like that vibe and that energy, that's what it was. Like that song felt different. Even though like the lyrical stuff was euphoria and all this other stuff, he was just having fun. This song felt like I'm dancing on your grave right now, and I'm slapping everybody that came to your funeral. That's what that song felt like. And so when I heard it the first time, I was like, oh. And the second time I heard it, I was like, this is it. It doesn't matter what happens after this. Like when Drake did the song on Sunday, and like I heard it, and I was just like, eh. And I went back to listening. Like, this is the problem. I went back to listening to the Not Like Us after, and I was playing back and forth, and I was just like, this seems like he's having fun, and Drake seems pressed. And that's why I sent you the text. I'm like, yo, because you asked me what I thought of it. You're like, what do you think about this? And I was like, Drake sounds pressed, and Kendrick sounds like he's having fun with his friends. This is how you know this rap is over. Like, he's going back from that.
And honestly, like that, and I think that's the part that was just kind of shocking of it all. It was just the speed of all of these songs. Number one, was
done. They're ready.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying from both parties, like you got so much songs in what? How much songs did we get in the span of? We had 4 songs between all of them, right, or something like that in the span of like 4 days, 3 days.
Yeah, it's like 8 songs, 4 days.
Yeah, it was
7 or 8 songs,
something like that. Yeah, it was crazy. So that to me was like, but like I said, when I heard the Bay-ish type of like, and the way he was rapping, it was like that Mr. FAB type.
Yeah,
I'm like, because all I was seeing while I was driving, all I was seeing was TikTok videos, hyphy dances,
bro.
Like that's all I was seeing, and I was just like, oh, it's like, oh my gosh, like what? I'm like, yo. I'm like, what is happening here?
Yeah, this felt like E40 and Too Short and all that stuff. That's what it felt like to me when I heard it. I was like you're vibing out when you listen to it. Whereas like Drake's songs were just give me a trap song. They didn't feel personal. They didn't feel fun. It didn't feel like, yo, I'm up 10-1 on this guy. I got nothing to lose right now. Like throw this record on him real quick to show you I'm dancing on your grave. I keep going back to that, but like that matters for a rap beef. That the perception is the most important thing. And we were talking about this before offline, but I'm like, it reminded me of Jay-Z and the Takeover and Nas with Ether. Right. I remember when Jay-Z, when he did Takeover, and he was at the radio station with Angie Martinez, and he was up high. He's on cloud 9, and everybody's calling in Ether One, and that just went true. And that's the same thing how Drake was with this last song. It felt like that the heart, it didn't feel like the energy was there. It felt like, man, let me just get this out so everyone would be like, at least Drake, he didn't run from nothing. He put this thing out. So like that's what it felt like. It was like a duty. Like I have to do this rather than, yo, I got 10 more in the bank. You let me know when I got to drop this on your family too. I don't care. Anybody can catch it. That's what it didn't feel like that. It felt like I have to do this. You know, it was like, I got to go make the donuts. It's 6:00 in the morning. Right. I don't want to be up right now. That's what that song felt like. It doesn't feel like, and then it's just the lyrics of it of, we tricked you. And like at the end of the song, like, bro, you had really good bars, but like I'm going on vacation right now. I don't want to hear it going from you. Like, come on, man. Like, it did. That's not how this thing got started. This guy, you were puffing out your chest at the beginning of this, and then at the end, you were like, man, all right, I guess this is it. I don't have more time for you. I gotta go on tour right now. Like, I'm busy. I gotta mow the lawn. Like, he's got it was not that energy was not there. That vibe wasn't there.
But it's funny because I think by the time like not like us, like and I'm looking at like Twitter and all that stuff, and you're just seeing in like real time. That's the thing. It was like almost like an experiment.
Yeah, you're in the afternoon. I said it was done. It's over.
Yeah, when you're watching like Twitter and you're just watching, or X they call it now, and you're just watching the videos just in different regions, and it was just going, and I'm like, it was like I said, it was like watching a science experiment. Like it was in real time. I was like, yo, what is going on here? And what's crazy to me too is like, and how history works when it comes to music, when it comes to these back and forths, right? Like once people start deciding and people start like, they start making up their minds, they start choosing, like you saw from there was like, man, I don't know, man. I think choosing sides.
Because we're in a different generation from when Nas and Jay-Z were there. Like you had to call into a radio station and do a poll. That's how people decided who won, right? Because they were both sides were like equal, and it wasn't like, oh, Nas hasn't sold any records recently. Like it was equal. It was fairly equal. Mm-hmm. This thing was decided by Instagram and TikTok, by that generation of I'm gonna make a funny skit making fun of this rap battle, and the people who were making all of these skits all picked Kendrick. Like these guys did animation. They had like just funny little videos, like the little kids were dancing to it. It was so much stuff that was on Kendrick's side. It was to the point where I was talking to my brother about this. I'm like, and is my TikTok feed biased? I'm like, I'm not getting anything from Drake's side. This is weird. It doesn't feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because with TikTok and Instagram, the algorithm decides what you see. So I personally thought like, yo, the algorithm is just feeding me out Kendrick stuff because I was looking for his Kendrick thing yesterday. And then, so that's what I thought was happening. But I did a deep dive and I was like, holy crap, nobody's talking about these Drake songs. It's like they didn't happen. Yeah, everybody's talking about, and then the type of videos there were. There's dance tutorials to Kendrick's thing. You got professors talking about lyrics, breaking down lyrics. You had like rap beef people that are in a podcast talking about it. Not us, but just rap people.
We're impartial, man.
We're impartial. I'm impartial, right?
Man. I'm just watching.
I'm just saying.
Seriously, I'm literally just watching. Yeah.
I got Drake records back here, right? Like I'm just saying, like I'm a fan. So like it was the amount, it was the types of stuff and the amount of it. It was so much that I feel like this was an ill-advised move. People don't realize when you've kind of run the moment, and like it's like a thing where people were kind of happy this happened to Drake. Like that's where it got to. And I thought that was weird. Well,
here's the thing too. Like, and again, because as we say, like this is kind of over our heads a little bit, but like like there's that meme that's out there of Thugnificent for the Boondocks when he's looking up at the guy, and he's like, what did this do to make these so mad? Yeah, and that's how I feel. I'm like, what did Drake do to make these guys so angry? Like, I'm legitimately asking. Because I'm like, it was like when he said it was 20 on 1. I'm like, man, he doesn't seem like he's lying.
He's not wrong. There's a lot of people that are like, Instagram and Twitter was like, there's a lot of rappers that are like, yeah, go get him. That blew my mind. And there's a lot of people that made songs or were just like co-signing stuff at it is an unusual rate, more than usual, and it was. A lot of rappers that Drake has worked with, that's the whole thing too, right? That to me, that's the thing that because normally it's some bums that you never heard of. That are, the guy who holds the weed for Wayne. He's like, yo, F Drake, man, that guy. Like that's normally what it is. We're talking people at the top of their game. Future, The Weeknd, Kanye. It's a long list of people that are still at the top of their game right now that were like, yo, F Drake. So I'm like, Drake did something. For it to be this personal and this amount of stuff. And I remember Kanye was doing an interview and he was talking about their beef because they have a long-standing beef.
Right,
Drake bought a house next door to him and his wife, his ex-wife. That's diabolical. Like, how much money do you have to waste to be like, yo, I'm gonna go to Malibu. I'm gonna buy a house right next to you. I'll be mowing the lawn, looking at you. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's diabolical. Like, how? Like, because that's what Kanye was saying was like, Drake is on some devious level stuff when you battle him. He's doing stuff behind the scenes to show you he's flexing on you on a different level. And I'm like, that's what I think Drake thought was going to happen here. But he didn't battle somebody on the tail end. I think Kanye is the only person Drake has battled with that wasn't completely washed at the time.
Right.
Or at least not on his level. You could say Kanye's very much on Drake's level. You can't say that for a lot of people Drake has battled.
Yeah.
So like, it got real personal with them. Like he's hanging out with the family. Like, dude, what are you doing, man? Like, you got beef with me. What are you hanging out with my family for? Like making fun of me. Like, yo, that's diabolical. You move next door and you hang with my family when I'm out of town. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's but it also too shows you how fickle like some of these relationships are in the music business too, right? As you know, like between peers for them to turn on them that fast, like, and like the ones that like even like with Rick Ross and like they're going back and forth Instagram battling, and I'm like, why is Rick Ross jumping in this? Like Rick Ross has put Rick Ross has been beefing with Drake for years though.
Oh no, I know that, but I'm just saying he just came like piling on like it was like a wrestling match, and it's like, well, where did Rick Ross come from? Like,
he just popped out of nowhere, like, eating some chicken wings. Like, yo, I don't know where Ross came from, but he's mad.
You know what it was like? It's like that. Like it was almost out of place. Like that's how it felt. Like it's like that old uncle that comes in with Air Force Ones in his hat backwards, and you're like, why is Uncle Jonesy looking like me? What's going on here?
No, it's like a street fight.
Why is his hat leg up?
It's like a street fight, and your old uncle shows up. Like, what are you doing here? You were in the alley somewhere fighting right now, and this guy shows up. Like that's what all of this is. And you're looking at the crowd, and the crowd is like, yeah, go get him. Like, where is this coming from? There's so many people that this is the thing. I can't say for certain because this is all speculation. A lot of people have personal beef with Drake. And it's a lot. It's surprising to me how many industry people have an issue with Drake. And I think that this is the problem with this thing. I think this beef needs to happen. Because, Drake has been on cloud 9. You got to get him back to cloud 8, I guess. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like some kind of reality and maybe whatever's happening behind the scenes will kind of chill out and we'll get back to getting good music again. Because I feel like Drake has felt untouchable for so long. This battle was eye-opening. I will say that to you. It's very eye-opening. I didn't expect it to go this turn. I didn't expect it to get this personal. I did not expect this thing to be this solidified right now about who won and who didn't win so quickly. Yeah. Because it's like in the weekend. This thing really kicked off like Friday. And it was done Sunday morning, I would say. It was done.
But like I said, I told you, like this is the last podcast. I'm like, I'll talk about this in about 2 weeks. Legitimately, I was like, I'll talk about it in 2 weeks because this is going to be going on for a while. And technically, it might still.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but the way like it happened that fast, you're just like, yo, like I wasn't expecting this. I don't think anybody was. At least I'm not alone in that. No,
I don't know. I mean,
nobody's
Schoolboy
expecting
Q or something with the guys in TDE, maybe they knew because I know they heard these songs, but like, I don't know. I don't know anybody that was like, yo, this thing is gonna rough up Drake, and we're gonna have industry people being like, go pull the ripcord right now, get out of this thing right now. I didn't think that was gonna happen. Now this is all speculation. We have to say this. It's all speculation.
Yeah, it's all
I haven't seen anything verified. Allegedly. But I'm just saying, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Like, I was in the record industry. Like, I know what's going on here. These guys talk, and Drake is an investment for everybody. He's keeping the lights on. Like, Drake is important. He's not like some bum. Like, if one of these other rappers had a beef and it was going to put their career out, nobody would bat an eye. Like, Drake is keeping the lights on for Universal. All right,
for a lot of people. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are putting their kids through college right now because of Drake and all of his releases on Spotify. So, like, it is important that Drake remains unsullied. The stuff Kendrick was saying stuck harder than the things that Drake was saying during the battle. And I don't know if it's like I didn't know that Kendrick was going through family trouble. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that
either. I was like, oh damn. Because the first time I heard it, I was like, oh damn. And then Drake mentioned it again. I was like, come on, man, you can't do that in a battle. You can't say things twice. Like, but like there's these things I didn't know. And so for Drake's side, there's stuff that I did know, but like there's all this footage and all this stuff about the other thing. I'm like, bro, why would you rap about that? You don't ever mention that. You pretend like that never happened.
Yeah.
You don't give credence to this thing that you said. Like, no, you pretend like that never happened. Move on.
Yeah,
that was wild. He put that in bar. Like, hey, everybody, it's not me. I promise you. It's not me.
I tell you, 2024 is a crazy time right now, man. It's a crazy time. Like, it's interesting because I don't think anybody was prepared to see this side of Kendrick in terms of being this cunning and this sinister and this orchestrated and planned. Like, I don't think people, like, everybody, like, you know, I know in the industry that, like, he calls himself the boogeyman and stuff, but I don't think anybody expected. Nobody expected that to happen. Like, I don't think anybody was expecting him to be like, like, I think like I said, and I think that the whole thing with the Meet the Grams dropping within an hour after Family Matters, like, I think, I think that's when people really realize, like, oh my God, like, oh, this guy's like Kaiser Sose. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like, oh, he's not done yet. He's making sure. Like, that's the thing.
Like the consensus talking to people, it was like, oh, this you like, at least people felt like he's got like 8 more songs ready to go.
That's the vibe he gave, which was smart because if you're battling somebody, you want to get. If somebody's kicking you, you want to give like, oh, he's got more shoes. You don't want to get that feeling like he's got to put these boots on after this. Like, somebody's kicking you on the ground, you want to be like, oh, he's got more shoes. I don't want to see that. Like, you want to give the impression that I'll go back there and get these boots real quick. Like, that's the energy Kendrick came at him, and everybody was like, oh shoot, when he dropped that second song, right after when I think it's the Meet the Grams song, and then the sixth. Was it 619, whatever?
16, I think that one was first.
616, We dropped that. It was like, oh, wait, Kendrick's got records about this. Yeah, he's been thinking about this for a minute. That's the vibe it got.
Yeah.
Because, like, to write something about somebody, I'm going to make a whole song, and I'm going to change up the beat a couple times, I'm going to do all this extra stuff. Like, you really put some thought into why you dislike this person. This wasn't like it wasn't like a random thing like, yo, this guy, I was going to the store and he cut me off in line and I went home and I wrote this song. Like, it's not like that. This is like Kendrick he's got like a book and like a Eminem, like, oh, that's a good line. I'll save this for later. Like, that's what he looks like. He's been piling this thing for a minute.
Like a 3-ring folder.
Yeah, you got the 3-ring folder of rap lyrics. I'm like, oh, that's a good one. I'll save this for later. Oh, this is a good one. Like, that's what it feels like a comic. That's what it feels like. And it didn't feel like Drake was ready for this. The first song, it felt like, I was like, oh shoot, he's rearing up, ready to go. And then the second song, I was like, okay, well, he's got a problem with this. This is gonna be going on for weeks. And then it kind of felt like the wheels fell off the bus at the end. Yeah. I still believe Kendrick has more songs.
I think a lot of people feel that way. But it's funny because when Drake did the AI, when he did the whole AI Tupac song or whatever, right? Tupac and
I didn't like that
AI
song,
thing.
Man.
But it's funny because I thought it was. I'll be honest. I thought it was clever. I was like, yo, this is actually like, because the whole thing of like, is it AI? Is it not AI? Like nobody was sure. So I think he took that plus the trolling aspect.
And these are heroes.
Like it's so it's like I understood the play. The only thing I fought back on was just the fact of like, you're with using other people's voices, AIs, that kind of thing. It's like, artists they're already not getting paid. You know what I mean? And the streaming stuff makes it like, it really undercuts, the intellectual property of a lot of these artists. So if you're gonna start using their voices now, I'm like, man, you're opening up like a Pandora's box. And that was the only thing that I was like, I don't know, but like the idea of it though was like, I was like,
it was clever, but to me the thing that I disliked the most about it was you were putting words in Pac and Snoop's mouth that they would never say. Pac would not say any of this stuff. Pac would be on Kendrick's side. I don't care what anybody says. Pac would have been on Kendrick's side on this. There's no way Pac would be like, Drake's my favorite rapper. There's no way. Based on my listening of Pac and everything I know about Pac, Drake would be not. It wouldn't be his favorite rapper. Pac would have been like, I remember when DMX was on Breakfast Club, and they asked him what they thought about Drake, and he's like, I don't like the guy. I don't like them. That's what Pac would have said. I promise you, Pac would have been like that. Pac would be retired, and he would come over there on the radio and be like, yo, this is trash. I don't like this guy. Because there's a lot of reasons people don't like Drake, and especially because he's not really in this life. He's kind of like he's adjacent to the life, but he's not in it. But he's rapping like he's in it, and a lot of people have a problem with that. Like they respect he's got bars and he's got all these albums and all these awards and he's got records and he's got bars. And you can't deny that. But the one thing somebody like Pac would have an issue with is that he's not really about this life. He's adjacent to it. And whereas, Kendrick is very adjacent to it. And so like that, between the two of them, that's always the knock that's been on Drake. I remember when Drake went down to Wayne to write for him and Wayne was kind of covering him up. He was kind of hiding him in the background, like, yo, just write bars for me. Don't do this stuff. It's not for you. Wayne has said a bunch of stuff in interviews about Drake. Don't get bogged down with this street stuff. It'll chew you up and spit you out because he's not really about that. And that's the one thing I'm concerned about Drake. And I was talking to my brother about this. Drake should be further ahead as an artist than he is. Like you think of how amazing Drake's career has been, right? Drake should be making songs beyond Taylor Swift, like Paul McCartney, like what I'm saying, like Quincy Jones should be working with Drake
because he's a good writer.
Yes, because it's a good writer, and like musically, you have access to unlimited resources. And the industry loves you. Like, why aren't you gathering, Celine Dion to go through a song? You know what I'm saying? Like Drake, that's where Drake should be. Why are you bogged down making trap songs with people? Like, you don't need to do this. You're past this. You're doing the songs with strippers. Like, you're past this. Like, this is stuff you start your career with, and then you move on, and then you start doing some, Burt Bacharach. Like this is where Drake should be. You know what I'm saying? Like you should be out here doing plays and acting. You're past all this. Like you think about where Drake's career started versus his last 3 albums. you're kind of reversing your career, making trap songs with hood dudes. Like, what are you doing? You're past this. You started off past this.
Going forward now, does it relate to great music going forward? Like, is it a renaissance of better music between these two artists, or just overall? Like, is there going to be more music with meaning? And when I say meaning, I don't mean like specifically conscious. You know, it could be that, but is it going to be just better music overall? Like, do you wonder that? Because I'm like, I think it's funny that, like, I think the cool part of this, it was really, this whole thing made everybody, and I mean everybody, respect the pen again.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like I never had to break down so much lyrics in my life. Like I was using
triple
Twitter
entendre
like
in every lyric, man.
Yeah,
like,
I was using Twitter and Instagram like Cole's notes, man. Like sitting there breaking it down, like, you know, like the algebra, like equations coming down from the sky. And you sit there like Ray Man. That's how I was doing it, because I'm like, again, you know, I keep saying this again, but I'm like, for this stuff, it's past us. But I'm like, but it made everybody go back and like really respect the meaning, and everybody was breaking down lyrics, and you know, and as much as fans like want to see these guys go back and forth, and we got a lot of great music going forward. Like I think the number one winner of this, first and foremost, are the fans. Yeah,
we're the one that won.
It's us.
We're not back at home stressing about this thing.
No, not at all. But I'm like, but if some of the way I kind of look at it, like if some of these artists or more like younger artists are smart, they would see like, you know what? At the end of the day, no matter what happens, no matter what the trends are, people still care about what's being said in songs.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like at the core of it, it's like I think that was one of the big things I took from this. It was like, oh wow, like people actually still care about what's being said.
Yeah,
like,
and I hope it is a thing. I want Drake to survive this, not just because we're from Canada, but like I like Drake as an artist. I like his music. He's put out a lot of great albums and songs. I want Drake to survive this, and I want him to be a better artist because of it. And this is the thing. I hope that what Drake does is he takes a couple months off and flies. You don't have to go to Hawaii, but like, you know, go to Montana somewhere like Kanye did, and pull up best producers and get I like 40, but you need a producer. You need a Prince Paul level producer, or somebody left wing that you're like, what? Drake's working with that guy right now, and make some music. That's what I want. I want Drake to put all this rap stuff behind him and go pen a stupid album, a ridiculous album. They basically what Kanye did after this Taylor Swift incident, where everybody's like going on Kanye's neck, and you have Obama going at Kanye. Like, you have President of the United States clowning you. Like, yo, you've reached the level of like, oh, this is a problem, right? I want Drake to go somewhere away from everything, cleanse your mind, cleanse your palate, and write it and produce an album, like a special album. I don't want it, not just a regular 20 trap songs in a row. I don't want to hear that. I want an album. Like, you singing, you're rapping, like do something creative that's
everything's
left
high
field.
level.
Like 808s and Heart. I hate to go back to Kanye, but like a My Beautiful Dark Fantasy, 808s and Heartbreak, just something out of here, away from what you've been doing before.
And you know what's funny, because like historically, musically, like anybody who's had their back against the wall, right?
They normally,
they normally the procedure, especially the great ones, like you've seen it with like Mary J. Blige when she came up with My Life. You've seen it with Marvin Gaye. You've seen it with, I mean, there's so many people you can go down the rabbit hole.
It's a long list.
It's a long list. Nas with Stillmatic. Like, you can just, I mean, there's so many different ranges of music. Like the people who's had their back against the wall, or their people wasn't with them, and all of it, or they were away for so long, and people are like, man, I don't know if that guy can, or that girl can come back out with any more. So
I want that for Drake. I want that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's like, this is his first real like controversy where it's like, this is like the test. So it's like, But usually, just historically, I'm just going by what you see historically. It's like the way it plays out is usually they come back with something where you're just like, oh wow, this just changed the game, or you're just like, man, like this album is just fire. Everybody's playing it. The good thing, as crazy as this is, because we're in the era that we're in, like we're just gonna move on to the next thing.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the next train wreck, like it never happened. Yeah, just move on.
Yeah, like this thing isn't gonna stick to him. Like if this is like 20 years ago, man, like this might affect him forever.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Absolutely. This would have been a bloodbath. This is 20 years ago. Like, there's no coming back from this.
Yeah, but now it's like he'll give it a few months or a few. I even say a few months. It's probably like a couple months. By like July, August, he's probably not even thinking about this.
Yeah, Drake needs to go in his Learjet and take a vacation and go somewhere and write. And I think that this would be a non-important story in a couple months.
Yeah,
as he can't just come back and drop an album next week. Like this is no good. He needs to go away for a couple months and pen something spectacular and work with the best people, up and coming people. You found some Afro beats guy, like just something different. Well, he's done that already, but like go find something we're not thinking about right now, and pen something crazy and new. That's what I want for Drake. I want this guy to thrive, and I want this guy not just to big up our city, but like I want this thing to thrive because I like the good competition. Like with Jay-Z and Nas. They made many albums after this beef. It wasn't the end, and that's what I want here. I want many more albums after this, and I want these things good. I want people to be like, yo, Drake is still that guy. I want that. I don't want it to be like, I don't want the Ja Rule 50 thing to happen,
right?
Where like Ja Rule put out platinum albums after this beef, and nobody remembers them.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. He put a double platinum album after this beef happened with hit records, and nobody cared. That's how bad that beef was.
Yeah, that's how sideways it went.
Yeah, that's how sideways this thing went. And this is the thing I don't want to happen. For the sake of rap music, I would like two lyricists to be able to still make records and people still embrace them. Like I would like that. Because we don't need more mumble rappers taking this frame. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's
sexy reds. I don't need that. I don't want that.
Yeah, it's got to pivot back because I think there's a lot of reflection of like where we are in society right now, where it's like if one thing is good, we're gonna run that one thing to death, and it's like
hopefully,
But that's what I hope. I mean, it's wishful thinking because. We'll see, but it's like you just want like more variety of music, period. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I think that's what makes music great. Like when there's more, like at this stage, like sometimes, and I've been saying this for years, like sometimes you listen to like radio, XM radio, and I don't even know who's singing half the time.
Yeah,
literally, and it's not because it's not because the music isn't made for me, but because I can't tell the voices apart anymore.
It's just miscellaneous.
It all sounds the same. Yeah, it's like yo, that was. Blah blah blah. Washington with like the S as a dollar sign and the N flip upside down and backwards, and you're like, okay, how do you even say this person's name?
Yeah.
And they sound like this one, who sounds like this one, they all sound the same. Everybody sounds the same. You know what I mean? From the sound and everything. So
yeah, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. For us, when we grew up, when we're listening to rap, say like when Biggie and Pac thing was going on. I can still listen to De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest and Like, there's a bunch of stuff I can listen to. Black Moon. Like there's records I can listen to and not be affected by this. Outkast. There's so much stuff that I can listen to and have a grand old time like nothing's going on. Whereas right now, where we still have like a couple good artists that are putting stuff out. Yeah. But like the biggest artists right now are these two guys, being frank. So if one of these guys has to put down his mic, that's a problem, man. That's a real problem. Yeah. And like we still have, there's a ton of music, and this is kind of a problem with Spotify rap, is that it's basically the Wild West. Like, depending on where you are, depending on, oh, I saw this thing on TikTok and look, I just checked it out. Like, you're never going to hear these artists. You're never going to see them. There's not a central place to go find new music like that. Like, or we like, MTV Raps, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a thing that we could just go find music and be like, oh shoot, there's a thing going on right now. These guys they're just in the wind. There's so much albums out right now, you don't even hear it.
You don't even hear it. Or I was gonna say, like, there's a lot of artists that are making songs for social media and not for the people.
I don't
they're making songs for TikTok. They're making songs for
it's
Instagram.
not a real release. This is just for my fans. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's like it's like TikTok driven.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know.
That buzz, so everybody's playing those songs over and over again.
Both of us sound like old heads right now, but like, yo, I'm not gonna. There's very few mixtapes I'm gonna listen to. I'll be honest. There's very few that I care about.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of people now making songs for the algorithm and not for the soul.
Yeah, and then,
you know what I mean. And that's a problem. That's what's affecting music.
Singles versus the. I want to hear. I'll be honest. I want to hear album versus a single, and a lot of people are just making the one song, and maybe you get a follow up song from that. But it was just, or you get
like a three album EP or something, or four.
Yeah. But that's for the algorithm. That's not for hey, no, I'm trying to put out a album, and I put all my heart and soul into this thing. It's just throwaway songs that don't matter. And this is the problem with the Spotify thing. You got to put all these throwaway songs so you get back in the algorithm again, so people see you in your friends list or whatever. Like, I want an album. I want a solid, well thought together thing that I can sit down in my car and listen to. And it's not enough of that.
The interesting part, to go back to Drake for a second, the interesting part with him is like, the last few months, 6-7 months, where he was facing some backlash because people weren't feeling the album. I know he added more songs to it afterwards, right?
I'm not going to say anything about that.
right. But this is what people were saying, right?
Yeah, people were saying that.
Yeah, this is what people were saying. But the point I'm making is, like, I wish that, like, for Drake, like, I like, there was a moment I think that he could have. I felt like, and I may sound crazy to say this, but I felt like he could have changed the game a little bit with when he came out with Honestly Nevermind. And it sounds crazy to say, but I feel like if he rapped on most of that, I felt like that could have been something so different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's like it's just something different. I mean, I don't know how people would have received it, but I'm like, if done right, done properly, like a mixture between house and hip hop, that type of thing. Like, that could have been like, oh my gosh, this guy changed the game. Like, you see how Beyonce came with the Renaissance, and it just 100%. Flipped everything on its ear. I'm like, yo, if he rapped on like 80% of that, I'm like, oh man, this would have been so.
Yeah,
different.
He's kind of saying, but not really. And it was basically, when I listen to those songs, it feels like he was warming up the track, and like he's like finding the melody, and then it's like he's just like, screw it, let's put it out. That's what it felt like. Because I've been in the studios before where a vocalist is just doing the melody, and then the artist comes on and sings the song later. That's what that sounds like. That's exactly what that sounds like.
And it's the thing too, because with music, like, we expect all our artists to be a certain way. So at a certain point, especially the bigger you get, at some point you do have to veer. You have to see what works. There might be sounds that may not work, but they all have to do it. That's the part of the process. You all have to do it. So that's kind of why I'm like, I wish he rapped on most of that, because I'm like, just to see if it worked. I think he's so big that even if it didn't quite work, he would have been okay. He could have just went, you know what? I tried it. It went to something new. You know what I mean? But like, it's just,
you're right. You're 100%. And this is the thing. I hate to keep harping on Kanye, but like, Kanye does that. Kanye makes an album or a song that you're like, what the hell? Yeah. What is this? But I'm okay with that. If I don't like it, I'm just not gonna listen to it. But like, I like that he takes chances, and I hope that Drake gets back to that. because at least on the in his first set of albums, I like the first like 4 or 5 albums, he was taking chances. He was singing on songs. He's doing like the 4 a.m. Marvin song, like just random stuff that you're like, I don't know if this works, but it works. It's like people like it. Like somebody likes it. Like that's okay. I like that aspect of Drake. And even Kendrick said that, which is like, dude, you can't have somebody dissing you with the thing that's actually true. Like you're not taking any chances. He's like, I like you better when you're doing these kind of songs versus this. Like that, you can't argue that. That's true. There's a couple times when Drake was doing songs, I'm like, yo, this is better. I mess with this because Drake he's natural here. He's feeling himself. He's just doing whatever it feels like. Rather than like when you make the trap songs, you're like, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I don't want that from Drake. I want Drake to be like, I'm being creative right now. This is what I feel like right now. Like this is in this moment, I was feeling like singing on this thing. This should have been a trap song, but I'm gonna sing on it. Like I'm like, okay, more of that. Like more of taking risk, trying different things, being creative. Because Drake is a creative person.
Right.
He's proved that throughout his entire career that he's a creative person. So when I hear a trap album that sounds like the previous trap album, I don't get inspired listening to it. I'm just like, all right. I mean, that's a good song. I don't know about that song, but that's a good song. Like, okay, like it's just I get a shrug. I don't. It doesn't excite me about what Drake's doing creatively, musically. Whereas, like, I don't have that problem with Kendrick. Kendrick, I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to get right now.
Yeah.
When you listen to a Kendrick album, you're like, I don't know what this is going to be. But all right, I'll give Kendrick the benefit of the doubt. Let's hear this thing out.
Yeah, because he'll go and veer out. And it's the funny thing is too with him now. With the thing with him now too with Kendrick is where is he going to go now? Because apparently there's a rumor that obviously that his album's going to be coming out at the end of the month. And I'm like,
that is Kendrick. Everyone's hoping Kendrick takes a break because there's gonna be bars on that album too.
But what I'm saying though is like if based on the momentum, right? Because again,
it makes the most sense. That makes the most sense because you get everyone's picking your side.
And people are talking and this, whatever they say.
Again,
we're being impartial. Right. They say they want, but I'm just saying like.
Strategically, it makes the most sense.
Yeah, but I'm like, if he comes out with an album now that's like, and again, we all win if these guys come up with good music. But like, if he comes out with an album that's on the level of Good Kid, Mad City, or Damn, even, I'm like, now his aura, his whole like mystique is gonna go mythical.
He can put a crown on and walk on water again. He can do whatever he wants after that. If he puts an album like that out again. A Good Kid, Mad City level album.
Yeah.
If he does that again, Kendrick's going to be in a good place musically and career wise. And this is the thing. I want it for Drake. I want this to happen for him. Like I don't want this to be the end of Drake's career. Like I was telling my friend this. I'm like, this can't be the end of Drake here. He can't be fed up and be like, "Yo, I'm gonna go away and just decide to screw. I'm gonna make movies." Because he was talking about that before. Right. Now I don't know how, because he signed that crazy contract recently, so I don't know how much free reign he has to work. But let's be real here.
Now, looking at the long game, right?
Yeah.
Especially with us being at this stage of our lives, like, do you think ultimately this was a good thing? Like this back and forth beef. Because I'm like mixed. I'm going
to say no. Because for the fans, Drake never had any cracks in his statue. You know what I'm saying? Like this puts cracks on the king. Because Drake is the king, as far as everyone's concerned. Drake is the king. This is like when Jay-Z put the Blueprint 2. Yeah. When he put that album out. And it was like, oh, wait, Jay-Z can make whack albums? What? This is possible? Like, no one thought of Jay-Z like that before that album came out. And it kind of...
Before that beef.
It kind of put... Like, Jay was the king at the time. And it kind of leveled out the playing field again and put Nas back up. So, like, for Drake, this was not a good battle. this didn't turn out the way I think Drake was expecting it.
And I mean overall. I don't mean just for Drake. I just mean overall.
Right now, no. It was good for Kendrick and bad for Drake, and it should have been good for both of them. But this was very bad for Drake. I can't stress this enough.
Yeah.
And as a neutral person who has nothing invested in either side, I have to say this turned out worse for Drake than I thought possible, because of the topics in this rap battle. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it for YouTube. I'll leave it there. The topics were not good for a pop star. As a pop star and a rap icon, that you can go either way. I can go to the Anchorman 2 movie and be in there, and no one would think twice about it. Why is this guy in this movie? Everyone's like, "Oh, Drake's in this movie." That's that thing that he had. He had an aura around him. He's untouchable, and now that's not the case anymore for the younger audience. Like a lot of us old heads, we can battle back and forth and respect Drake as an artist. The younger audience will chuck you aside at a moment's notice and never think about you again. And this is possible for Drake, where it wasn't 2 months ago. It wasn't possible. So
a month ago, even.
A month ago, it wasn't possible, and now it is possible. I don't think this was good for Drake. It was good for the fans for sure, because we got this thing going on, especially us old heads. We enjoyed this rap battle immensely. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But for career wise, this was bad news. If the rumors are true that your executives were like, Kendrick got to stop rapping, if that's even 5% true, this was the worst thing that ever happened to Drake.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
I'm just saying, if that's remotely true, and listen, I've been in the music industry, I've been at record labels before. They do stuff like that all the time, and they're both signed to Universal. So that makes it even more possible that these guys are like, yo, what the hell's going on down there?
And you know what, Keo? This is where I'm like, when I ask the question if it's good for the game, and I'm like, I'm not 100% sure.
I don't think it is.
And I think, I think in some ways, yes, because of the sport of it, the art, the competition, this is going to be remembered forever, of course.
Yeah,
but
this is up there.
It's like it's it's going to be remembered for all the below the belt shots. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be remembered for all the things that were said, the content level.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what's the best analogy? What way I could say this? Okay. It's kind of like I'm a fan of The Wire, right?
Yeah.
And I gotta go with Lester Freeman. You know,
I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say.
Where you know I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, I know what you're
where
gonna
you
say.
follow the money, you don't know where it's gonna take you, right?
Yeah.
And both these artists are having a vicious battle that is driving up the amount of content between podcasts, the news, all TV shows, sporting events, shows
just artists, label mates.
For sure. Label mates, right. It's making social media, creators money, streamers money. Mm-hmm. And it's all under the same umbrella that has nothing to do with us. And I think that's where I'm not invested in it like some people are. Like the thing about beef is that this became deeper than rap, right? If you could look at the perspective that Drake came from it, where it's this guy's not on my level, blah 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 blah. Kendrick looked at this thing like he doesn't like the idea of him and what he represents in this space. Right. Mm-hmm. So to me, it became more of in some ways, it became more of Kendrick versus the machine. You know what I mean? Because I think Drake is like the king, he's the machine. So it was Kendrick versus the machine.
It's a David versus the Goliath kind of thing.
Even though Kendrick's a huge artist.
Yes, this is the problem. David is the same size as you, and he has his own machine behind him and the streets. And so it's not a David versus Goliath thing, but it felt like that.
It felt like
right?
Everything's
behind him, and this is not as big a deal for Drake as it should be. But I will say this: we don't know until Drake puts his next album out and if it does well and he feels untouched, then nothing happened. You know, bygones be bygones, and it's fine. If Drake puts the next album and it doesn't do as well as he normally does, this is a problem.
You can say that Kendrick is, you know, the winner of this, right? And you know, you look at all the stats, like he's like setting records on single streams daily.
Insanity.
Like his 4 of his diss tracks are top 10 on every chart that you can think of. The Not Like Us is number 1 in 40 plus countries right now.
Insanity.
So it's so you're looking at it from the perspective of that. You're like, yo, like
he beat him
won.
at his own game. This is the thing.
But hear me out though. What I'm saying is that like,
yeah,
it's Drake. It's not Drake, but it's Kendrick. It's Kendrick versus the Machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you really think of it, both of them are winning.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
They're getting attention, but like Drake is not getting good attention today.
Oh no, that's not what I mean. When I say both of them are winning, I mean the Universal is under the same umbrella. So
Universal's winning for sure.
They're winning. Like they're the big winners in this. So I'm like,
I will look at it like this. I will look at these guys are 2 horses, and you know their riders got off both horses and smashed their legs up. Kendrick is still able to ride the race. We don't know if Drake is able to ride the race at the same level yet. Because here's the problem. The internet is very fickle and they can forget tomorrow and this won't matter. Or the internet could be like, yeah, I remember that rap beef. No, I'm not going to that concert anymore. Like that kind of thing. That's very possible.
Right. But I think the point like I said, I'm looking at it from the bigger scheme of it is I'm just like, no matter what direction it flows, who wins, who loses, it's flowing in the same basin.
Yeah,
so, and I'm like, and the basin isn't
winning.
Yeah, and the basin never looks like us. So that's that's why I'm like being as old as we are now. Yes, that's I'm like being as old as we are right now. It's like, you know, I think just for the variety of my mind, I just wish the end was different and the basin looked different. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's like the big thing where I'm kind of like, all right, you know, like,
it feels like we're battling with each other to entertain somebody else,
and we're repeating the same pattern. Like the same pattern is kind of repeating.
This thing could end very badly for him. We don't know what the damage has been to his brand yet.
Yeah,
because like you saw the his storefront. I think it was in London that they spray painted "Not Like Us" on it. Right. You don't want that to get out of hand because people are the internet is starting to turn into an avalanche of people talking about him, talking down to him as an artist, saying he lost. Like that thing that could turn into a different avalanche and go down the wrong hill as an artist. And just the way that how successful these beef songs have been. Like everybody's listening to these beef songs. Like people that you don't even think of that were listening to this stuff. Drake fans and people that aren't Drake fans are listening to this stuff. Now, would this affect his career? We don't know yet. I hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't. But we don't know the effect of all this stuff yet. And that's the thing. Ja Rule didn't think this thing would affect him the way it did, until it did. And so like it's very capable. As like look, Ice Cube when he went at Dr. Dre and all these people, they didn't think it was gonna work. Like they were like, "Yo, we're still NWA." This one guy ran out. He ran away to New York. He's not right. He's not down with us. Like they didn't think it was gonna work that way, but it did. Ice Cube came out on top, and no one's thinking about NWA anymore, like the same way they did before that thing happened. Drake is more vulnerable than he's ever been in his entire career right now. I'll put it like that. I wouldn't say that it's affected him. We don't know. Most likely, he'll probably be okay. But people are looking at him differently than they did before after this weekend. And for rap, that could mean anything. Because you still need the streets to be behind you.
Yeah.
Still, like for the type of music he's making right now, the streets need to be like, yo, I like this. This is good stuff. Because Wendy in accounting is waiting for us to be like, oh yeah, these guys still like it. Okay, cool. I can bop to this. Let's be real here. That's how it goes. All these guys they're still looking at the streets and be like, this is still okay? All right, I like this song now. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
And they're doing a crip rock right now to these songs. It's not good.
It's wild. But like I said, I think that's like I said, just for me, like I said, I come back to that whole thing of like man, you just wish the cycle was a little different. You know what I mean? Like beef sells, I get it. You know what I mean? But like I said, up until Friday, I would say up until Friday, I was like, I don't care. I'm just like, whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like for me, and
because again, it's not for us, right? It's not for us.
The way the internet felt like when Not Like Us came out, it felt like people are rooting for Kendrick and hoping Drake loses, and I've never seen that before.
Nah,
people are actively rooting for Kendrick to take Drake out, or at least knock him down a peg. It felt real personal. It felt because when you're the king, people want it's like an NBA finals where a team from some small market beats the Lakers. Yeah. It's like finally somebody beats these. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Finally somebody beats these guys and takes a ring away from LeBron. F that guy. That's what it felt like. And that's bad. Honestly, that doesn't bode well long term for the career. That's why I say Drake hopefully Drake takes a vacation and comes back with some fire and just moves on from all this, because you can't have Kendrick make a triple platinum album on streaming or whatever nonsense and number on Billboard, and then you come out and you're in 22 on the charts or something like that. That's not good. That's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that drop off happening like that, but I get what you're saying though.
Surprise, man. Anything. Look, you didn't think this weekend was going to happen. This way, anything is possible in 2024. I have to look at it this way from here on out. Anything is possible. The rest of the year, at least, yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't put it past. Think about it. We're saying that's ridiculous. How many ridiculous things have happened this year already? Like anything is possible. Like just straight up. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if he came out and it wasn't a well-received album and people are just like, man, I wouldn't be surprised.
Last question. Do you think there's any more diss tracks to come? You think it's fine? You think it's over, or do you think there might be more? Even in light of everything we've been saying.
I'm gonna say no, because I think Kendrick would have dropped already if this was gonna go somewhere. I think their crew thinks they won, and the internet thinks he won, so it's kind of unnecessary. Mm-hmm. If Kendrick does anything, it's like a throwaway line versus like a whole song.
A whole song.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get another song. I think we're kind of done here, just because the internet responded the way it did to Not Like Us. I don't think you got to think about it like this. Kendrick came out, the audience is like, bravo, come out here. And he went backstage and came back out and bowed again. And he went backstage. There's no need to do another bow. You're like, you're good. Everyone clapped. They threw roses on stage. You're good, man. Just go to your dressing room, relax. It's unnecessary. If he makes another song, I think it would take the response of like, come on, man, like, what are you doing here? Like, I think it could people could turn on him. It kind of you're on that unnecessary stage level. The best thing to do is to go out on top. Your song's charting everywhere. It's number one on Billboard. You won. Like, as far as people are concerned, you won.
When I saw the stat that it's trending, and it's not trending, sorry, it's number one in over 40 countries, I was like,
bro, like, what do you need to do? Like, what do you got to prove?
I'm just rubbing my eyes here because I'm just like, I'm still blown away by what's happening, man. Like, this is crazy.
What's left to say?
Yeah.
This is crazy. You won on his level. You know what I'm saying? Like, you beat the bully as a bully. So like from your perspective, it seems unnecessary. Like I don't know. Like I'm just saying not how I feel. I gotta be very clear here. Not how I feel, but how the streets feel.
How the people
feel.
Yeah.
The people feel he won. The amount of people that have all the TikToks and the Instagram posts and all the people debating with it back and forth, everyone's general consensus is he won. And even I was watching Academic stream, and I was ignoring academics and reading the comments, and the comments were like, Kendrick won. It was definitive. It wasn't like we're not sure or whatever. It was definitive. And so I think it's unnecessary for Kendrick's part to put out another song. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this stage, you know, like to wrap up, I'm like, I hope it's done only because they put out basically, you know, between the two of them, they basically put out like 10 songs.
It's a lot of songs.
Like it's a lot of songs, so it's like you don't want it to get to the point where you actually start to be like, oh my god, like you're like another one.
We've lost momentum. We're in Thursday now.
Yeah,
this thing, Drake's song was Sunday. It's Thursday now. Momentum's gone. Yeah. So it'd be like beating a dead horse or something like that. I'm like, what do you gain out of this song?
Yeah. Like everybody's still talking about it, and that it's like this is not going to go away for at least another few days or so.
Yeah, but I think you got a couple days out of this still.
Yeah, for sure. But the point I'm making is like I just feel like there's so much songs already. It's like you want people to still care about it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like that's where you kind of just like, all right, just leave it here.
It's like putting a single off a day after you put another song out. Like it's not necessary.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
The momentum is this thing's number one all over the place. If it fell off the charts, then you can be like, I'll put another single out. But like that's what he's doing right now. He's putting singles out. Like in the matter of a couple of days, he's put singles out. I think it's unnecessary. But like again, this seems so personal that he could do it out of spite. So that's the level we're at right now. Because he could be like, yo, F the label. I don't care. Like whatever these guys are saying, I'm gonna put this out. That's how personal this thing has gotten. Yeah, anything is possible.
Yeah, like I said, I can't even believe we're here. But you know what? We'll wrap up. Like I'm still shaking in my head. Like if I'm talking to you, I'm just kind of like, how did we get here? Like this is crazy.
Know. This is the type of beef that I didn't even know was happening. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's how far out of it I was. I didn't even know what's happening. I didn't know these guys have been taking shots. I knew they were making songs or saying stuff at each other. I knew that. But like I didn't know it was this personal.
Yeah, neither did I.
Because we're talking years for both of them.
Yeah,
like, it's real. Based on Marcellus Wiley's take. And if we believe what he said, this thing's been 10 years in the making. Because Control is a couple years ago. It's like 7 years ago.
I can't remember how long.
Dude, Big Sean hasn't put anything out in years, right? So we're talking a bunch of years ago that Big Sean was even relevant. Let's be real here. So like that was amazing.
But the way they make this sound, this was like I don't even know if this. Well, actually, it might have been around that time, but. Yeah, like I said, the fact that we're here even having this conversation to me is it's wildness, man. But thank you, brother.
Thank you for checking out the latest edition of the Ave Podcast. Much appreciated for you guys tuning in. Shout out to DJ Keo as hopping on this podcast and having this discussion on this epic rap battle. It seems like. As a fan of hip hop, it's a good thing that this is staying on wax. As wild as this became, and make no mistake about it, this is a crazy battle back and forth between these parties right now. It seems like it's staying on wax. We've seen enough examples in history where it spills out into the streets, and you never want to see it get that far, ever. You know, that's not something that we need to historically be repeated. You know, but for the music and the hip hop fans, especially for the younger generation, you guys definitely have an epic battle worthy of remembering. I mean, I'm not sure what this is going to lead to in the future. I just hope that this rising tide raises all boats and we benefit from better music all around and not just picking out the low-hanging fruit of creating and hopping on more beats, because if that's the case, An opportunity was sorely missed. But anyways, check out my catalog over at SouthSharav.com. One more time for the emphasis, that's SouthSharav.com. Hit that like and subscribe button wherever you're checking out this podcast. For DJ Keo, this is Cal C. And you just tuned into the latest episode of the Ave Podcast, a special Saturday edition, right here on South Sharav Radio. All right, have a great weekend. We're out. Peace.